Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You may know me as the Grimm's List or the Grim Reaper. Now, today I'm going to be talking about Lucarii, and I will be exposing certain things I've seen so far that he may have done in the past, which I will definitely show you. The interview I had with one of his friends. What the blank Lucarii caught inappropriate interaction with minor. Not true at all. Sane is 18, I think. Sane confirmed in voice in a large call 20 people were in. They are actually a 13-year-old incredibly disabled Malaysian girl with a difficult grasp on English ever since then. You've been pawing after them for attention. We've had to tell you to stop over 5 times. After this threat, I decided to confront Lucarii along with Shane, ready to ban him if he didn't apologize for this misconduct. After the slightest pushback, he began screaming and turned on his cam and immediately began to flash his Gentile. I banned him immediately. So from seeing this, you can probably guess that this could mean that Lucarii may actually be a pedophile. Now, the only reason I'm not confirming this yet is because there's still a lot of evidence I still need, but I will definitely say this seems very convincing that it could be true. But the only reason why I'm still not calling him a pedophile is because I still need a lot of information. And I need to make sure I know exactly what's going on. Every little details is very important. And I don't want to accuse him of something he didn't do either. But it seems that this could be very, very true, what happened. And this is very bad luck for Lucarii. Unfortunately, he actually removed his account completely out of Twitter. I even tried to responding to him, but he wouldn't respond to me at all, and his account was gone by that time, so it was already too late. So anyways, now that you got a lot of information from what I've said, and I will definitely say that right now he does seem pedophilic. However, I'm still not going to call him that. For one reason, I don't want to jump the guns either. I want to make sure I know what I'm saying. So this is why it's called Lucarii Allegations. Not because I don't believe he couldn't be a pedophile, but it's because I gotta make sure that I know what I'm saying. And I will make sure that I don't just accuse someone right off the bat any chance I get. So I'm trying to make sure that you understand this means that it could be true, doesn't mean it is true. Another thing is I made this YouTube video to call him out on his pedophilic motive because it is very concerning and it needs to be called out on immediately, and hopefully it can bring awareness to people to keep an eye out and to make sure that Lucarii doesn't do anything stupid. Alright, now let's get started to the interview.
Well, that's the answer.
Alright, so I'm not sure I'm going to have a lot of time, so I'm going to get some disclaimers out of the way because I do want to be responsible about this. First off, I understand this is a whole lot of evidence. It's just going to be me sharing my experiences. But I really want to at least get the story out there so other people take an interest and look into this on their own. So if they want to decide to do like a deeper dive on this guy, they can. So I wouldn't, take what I say and just roll with it and just be like, this guy's a pedophile. But I know what I saw, and I know the people know what they saw. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that out there.
Alright, so I have a question before you answer some of the other questions.
Sure.
So at first, I won't lie, I thought this was just coming out of you and you were just saying it and it was like BS. I didn't believe you at first because it's hard to believe. Not to be mean or anything like that, because personally, I'm not trying to use anything against, someone. If I don't agree with someone, my plan isn't to just go after them and use something against them. Just like that, like calling him a pedophile and thing like that. Like, but the situation does seem like he might be a pedophile.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
From my perspective, it's more than just seems.
yeah. It's just really weird. Apparently his account doesn't exist anymore.
Oh shit, did he nuke it?
He must have, because it says it no longer exists.
Yeah, I reached out to him today, actually, and before I blocked him, I like I tried to approach him to at least try to get at least one final say from him first. And that was a conversation in itself, but we can get into that later. And just so you guys don't think I'm inspect elementing it, I can do a share screen just so you know, like, this is the stuff that he's actually said.
Alright. Well, you can always send it to DMs as well.
Yeah.
Because I can always take the screenshot and all those things and put it in together.
Yeah,
And
I can do that
effort.
as well. But if just in case you doubt me, I can, actually do a share screen so you know I'm not doing any sort of Photoshop or inspect elementing.
Alright.
But,
You can do it.
Yeah, first off, we'll start with the questions, though.
So,
I just
have
wanted to
you
make a question.
ever... Were you in a live stream with them?
Live streams, no. We mainly just had a private group that we just played games together, just hung out. We were part of a friend group that recently just collapsed. We met each other playing League of Legends casuals. He would play top lane and I mid-lux. You can often see him play League of Legends. That's one of his go-to games. I don't play it as much. I haven't even unlocked rank yet, but having somebody in game that you knew made it a lot more digestible for me. So that's how I met him.
Alright. And how many people were there in your group of people?
Between 20 and 30, we would usually just invite people we typically played games with, and we would just we didn't often hang out in VCs at the start. We just kind of did text. So the server mainly was like planning events like, hey, does anybody want to queue up? Does anybody want to run this dungeon in this MMO? Stuff like that.
Another really interesting one. How old is he? I don't know if you know how old he is.
I think he's in his 20s.
Alright. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a question. On Twitter, you said that you guys after the first tweet, you guys made a VC, a voice call, and he turned on after some time. He started screaming and turned on the camera and started, doing that thing that I'm not really gonna say here. But did you screen record it or something? Like, it's not like a rule or something, but I think it would be really good if we had the whole recording.
I didn't screen record it. No, it kind of happened so quick. Plus, there was a kid in the call, so I had to be kind of fast about it. All I did was get the Windows snip tool and just get that.
Yeah, I get that. I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Alright, so another question I have, if you don't mind. So when you went to screenshot certain images that you found out, does any other people in that group knew about this? Besides you, like how many other people knew about this?
Once, people generally in the group knew about, like, the multiple other instances. We've talked to Lucarii, aka Jordan. I'll just refer to him as Jordan from now on because that's how I know him. Multiple people have been made aware of, like, the other instances of Jordan being weird, but they were not happening like close together. You know, it'd be like one instance happening like many months back, and then another many months forward, and then maybe another more months forward over the span of 2 years. So it never necessarily registered as like creepy behavior, just because like, you know, it was just so, it just genuinely read as some fuck ups by an awkward dude, you know? So the only people that truly found it to be like weird, if that's what you're asking, were probably just me and a handful of the group, but nobody thought like he was pedophilic or anything. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the 5 times you've seen it? So apparently you said that you saw him doing something weird in behavior like 5 times.
Yeah, we've had to talk to him 5 times. That's what I just referenced. The first time was very early on, probably about 4 or 5 months after we were all in the group server. The first time we had to question him kind of harshly was when we learned that he was DMing Satan. It came up in casual conversation in general chat. When I learned he was DMing her, I approached him privately to tell him to knock it off. We had a back and forth for a hot minute, and he eventually caved, and he agreed to stop. The second time, we were just shooting the shit, just guys hanging out in VC, and Satan joined. Everyone stopped with like the sex jokes and shit, but Jordan didn't. I had to repeatedly remind him to chill and voice and to stop, reminding him Satan is a kid. Jordan would at first shrug it off, making the jokes, she doesn't understand, and I think he then said, she's Asian, she probably just hears ching chong bing bong waka waka. Eventually he admitted it was wrong and said he'd stop and apologized.
Right.
The next offense, usually our group never did like one-on-one gaming, in the sense like we didn't have just 2 people in the voice chat just hanging out with each other. We usually would have like, if one person was just playing a game with one other person, there'd still usually be like 2 or 3 other people just hanging out just to talk, you know? So we all played as a group. We'd at least have others like just to fill the air, just to not make it awkward. But then one day I got DMs from other members while I was working. They showed me screenshots of both Jordan and Satan alone in a voice chat together with nobody else. We already were skeptical on keeping Satan in the server because just the idea of having a kid there was weird, but and we did have a lot of contention behind it. We contemplated banning her once we learned her age, but after she kept to herself for the most part. Nobody was really weird towards her, and we made a public threat that we would ban and report anybody that was weird to her to the authorities, just to kind of scare anybody, because at that time we genuinely did not believe anybody would be weird to her, because everybody till then was very chill and kind of kept to themselves as well. But after she left the voice chat, I got into the voice chat with him, and me and him had a pretty long back and forth where we talked about probably hundreds of things, but then ultimately he agreed that, yeah, it was inappropriate, he just didn't think about it, he apologized, and then said he wouldn't do that again. The next instance, nobody was really the type to post porn in chats in there. It just wasn't our thing. He never made any rules about it. None of us had any sort of interest regarding it. However, Jordan was different. We all gathered he was just like some neckbeard, because he would constantly go off about anime, and he even would have like anime girl profile pictures, like, you know, his Twitter. One day Jordan began posting pictures of hentai in chat while Satan was around and was talking about his quote-unquote favorite hentai positions. We all shamed him, made fun of him, and pointed out the fact that it's extremely inappropriate because Satan was in the text chat. He then swiftly would delete all the hentai and apologize. And at this point, a number of members were frustrated with him. Even though like each event happened like a fair amount of time in between each other, nobody really posted porn in any of the chats. None of us just have an interest in it. We all figured that Jordan was a neckbeard, and but he was the exception apparently, because he just one day started posting hentai and was like saying that these were his like quote unquote favorite positions in hentai. And we all shamed him and pointed out how inappropriate it was to do that, knowing that Satan is in the chat. And he quickly deleted all the hentai and then apologized, saying he won't do that again, like the other instances. And at this point, everybody was frustrated with him. Everybody, even though all these incidents happened months apart, this was at the point where we were getting really frustrated with him. And a good many months went on and no weird behavior happened. But now we're getting pretty close to present day. And the recent months, he has been really weird. Like, over the top. Like, he'd be screaming in chats, acting generally belligerent out of the blue. And he just... Admittedly, he was kind of like the punching bag of the community just because he's just a weird guy. But once we saw he's been acting like this, we all really felt bad for him and figured maybe he snapped. So the others and I privately agreed to cut him some slack because he was acting pretty crazy at times. He'd consistently make some incredibly edgy jokes about most things that probably shouldn't be humored, all over the spectrum. We figured if we gave him the space, he would just air out his own dirty laundry and kind of return to normal. Well, he didn't. We recently only began engaging with each other on Twitter because we all came from different directions on the internet, so we figured we'd just engage more to see what's up. So I see Jordan engaging with you guys, and honestly, you guys are acting like speds over being called annoying and cancerous. So I decided to hop in and poke some fun at y'all. And then I make the comment that it's fun to make fun of Jordan, because it is. And apparently at that time, after that, it may have upset him or something, but he started acting out again. He hopped in a voice chat alone with Satan. And yeah, and once nobody really noticed it, but then we noticed that Satan sent something in the general chat, which was that screenshot of saying that Jordan just admitted to being a pedophile, which we figured was a joke, but it was still really inappropriate to say around a child, plus he was alone with her, which he agreed that he wouldn't do. And yeah, so I decided after that, hop in the VC and confront him about it. And then after, giving, like, reminding him of that he lied, that, he promised that he wouldn't do this shit again, and he just started screaming over the mic, and then he turned on the camera and then began to flash himself. And then, then I immediately grabbed the snip and banned him from there and let the people in the server know what was happening. And then everybody from the server got admittedly upset. A lot of the people did not want to be, like, associated with him. or any pedophilic situations, understandably. So
Yeah.
a great number of people began to leaving. And it was a major event that essentially collapsed the entire friend group. So yeah, those were the 5 instances. The 5th one being him being alone again with her in the voice chat on that final day.
So it's like this happened various times before, and you already told them various times that she was a minor again and again, and he already apologized, and he did it again, which he on Twitter he said that he thought she was 18, which obviously
Was a
isn't
lie.
true. He knows that she isn't then, and after when he flashed himself, was Satan on the call too?
Yes.
Oh boy. So he knew that she was a minor. He did that various times, and then flashed himself on a voice call with her on the call.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So how old is Satan?
Satan right now, I think I don't know when her birthday is. I never really cared to ask. When she told us her age, I believe that was in 2020. So she said that she was 13 then, and it's 2022 now, so she's most likely 15.
15 or 16, around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely underage. Why does he think that she was 18 then?
I think he was covering for himself because there's no reason that he should think that she's 18 because we've had 5 different talks about it.
And
Possibly more.
And he admitted that he was wrong on most of those, right? Like he
Yes.
apologized for it. So like there's just no excuse. He knows that what he's doing is wrong and that she's a minor.
Correct.
What was the kind of edgy joke did he make?
Usually it would play into like just racist jokes, or just imagine just general 4chan humor, stuff like that. It was all over the spectrum. It was never like pointed in one single direction. Just whatever was just shock humor to him. He would say.
So what was the most edgy one he has said?
That's a hard one. The most edgy joke he said. I guess I know he said some really bad ones, but maybe the most recent edgy one that feels kind of gross to me is if he would consistently make those like if she's old enough to bleed, if she's old enough to breed, if she's old enough to pee, she's old enough for me kind of shit. And I get that's just humor, not really indicative for most people. But that's the most recent thing I can think of. The other stuff would just be like him trying to make stereotypical Asian jokes, calling Asian people zipper heads, stuff like that. Just all over the place.
So do you think you're going to kick him out of the Discord server?
I've already banned him, and I've had so many people come to me asking me to like, since they left and want to completely disassociate themselves with the situation and didn't want to be involved in any way, shape, or form. I've had a good number of people from the community ask me to even go back and delete all their messages, which honestly, over 2 years is going to be a little bit much on me. So after pretty much almost everybody left anyway, I just went ahead and just nuked it just because, like, just to be done with it.
Apparently, Lucarii actually had me blocked a bunch of times, and I never actually knew why he had me blocked. So that's where the argument started, kind of. I was wondering why was he blocking me for nothing. But now that I think about it, it would make sense because I'm known for calling out pedophile and zoophile. So that could make sense why he basically blocked me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely possible. I went live so you can see, that the DMs I've had with him on this account because he's had multiple Discord accounts up until now. And he's made excuses for each one of them. We've never really cared to ask why. This account he's had for a while now. I don't really talk with him in DMs all that much at all. So on this account in particular, he and I don't have that much history, but this is where I approach him today. Do you guys
I'm
see it?
guessing he has you blocked.
Oh, I blocked him. I didn't
Oh.
want to. Yeah, I didn't want to, be associated and listen to any more of his excuses. I mean, the cuckoo in question before, at the bottom there, cuckoo is Satan. That originally she went by the handle online of Cuckoo Kiki, and when he asked about trying to get her at again because now she's gone. And it just seemed like he was just trying to be creepy and trying to establish another a rapport with her, a line of dialogue or something. I don't know.
Can you show it there? Him admitting that he knows that she's a minor, like apologizing for it.
Yeah, like right here he's trying to make the excuse that like he thought she was 18, which I know is bullshit. But then if you look right there, then he tries to use the excuse he was drunk and all that, which might be true, but it doesn't make him lying like any more innocent, Like he's lying right now, present tense, and he seems sober.
Yeah, and even if he didn't knew that she was a minor, it's still the responsibility of the person to check the age. The person they're sexualizing, they're making like text of sex and stuff like that. So he'll still be called out the same.
Mm-hmm. The only issue is he absolutely is none. Like you can see here where like he doesn't deny we've had these talks before, like so he knows for a fact that she's not 18.
Yeah. And he is basically also admitting that he did flash you and all that. So there's not really much right now to defend him for. It's basically right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all I needed right now.
Same here, to be honest.
All right.
So thank you, John.
No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Glad to help. You guys have a nice day.
You too.